All right. So you guys sent us this book called How to Become an Alpha Male.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh, yeah.
and want us to like check it out and kind of see what's inside. So
Interesting.
that's exactly what we're going to do.
Okay.
So first off,
Yeah.
like, what is this thing?
Well, it seems to be self-published,
Yeah.
so it's not like a
Right.
peer-reviewed
Oh,
scientific
right.
study or anything.
It's more of a
It's just one guy's
just one guy's perspective.
which is
That's what makes it so interesting to deep dive into.
it really, yeah.
So he's basically presenting this as like a roadmap to success
Okay.
for men.
Yeah.
And he's really focusing on like attracting women.
Okay.
And he starts off with like a really kind of bold claim.
Okay.
He's like, I was that guy in high school.
Oh, really?
I was awkward, dateless,
Okay.
and a virgin until 21.
All right.
So he's kind of setting it up like, look,
Yeah.
I can change. Anyone can change.
Yeah. I've seen that before. That kind of zero to hero narrative.
It's like
It's classic. Like we all want to improve ourselves, so it's very appealing.
And he's presenting himself as like the proof
Exactly.
that it works.
Like I did it, and so can you.
Right.
So.
But then he gets into this thing where it's like there's this hierarchy of male behavior when it comes to dating.
All right.
So he's got the alpha males at the top.
At the top, okay.
And then he's got nice guys at the bottom.
Interesting, okay.
And then he's got like jerks somewhere in the middle.
Okay, so this is...
And he's saying only the alpha males.
Only the alphas are successful.
Are actually successful with women.
Okay, so he really thinks there are these different types of guys.
He's got very strong opinions about all these types.
Like, what does he say about these nice guys?
So he's like, nice guys are manipulative and boring. And they're always trying to please women.
Right.
Without actually being genuine.
Oh.
And then the jerks,
yeah,
he's saying like, they might attract some women.
Okay.
But only women with emotional problems.
Okay.
So it's like
only the alphas.
Yeah, you have to be this alpha male
right.
if you want to be successful.
Okay.
So then it's like, well, what is that?
Yeah. What does that even look like?
Like, what does it actually mean to be an alpha male?
Right.
What are we even talking about?
Yeah.
So he's like, mindset is everything.
Okay.
Like that's a huge thing for him.
Right.
He talks about developing what he calls an internal locus of control.
Okay.
So basically like, you control your own destiny.
Right. You're not a victim. You're in charge.
Exactly.
Okay.
And like he even has you do this exercise where you write down a blame list.
Oh, wow.
Of like everyone and everything that's holding you back in life.
Interesting.
And then you're supposed to like challenge it and be like, why should this have any power over me?
I can see how that might be helpful for some people.
Yeah.
Like to really take ownership of your life.
Yeah. It's all about like taking responsibility for your own choices and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But then he takes it like a step further with this thing about framing. Reality to your advantage.
Interesting.
So like he uses this example of trying to find parking at a nightclub.
Oh, yeah. That's always a nightmare.
And he's like, instead of getting frustrated, you should reframe it as like a sign that there's tons of potential dates inside.
So like turn it into a positive?
Exactly. Yeah. It was like mental judo or something.
I like that.
It's like using the situation to your advantage.
So like you can control how you react to things, even if they're not great.
It's like choosing to see things in like a more beneficial light.
Okay, so it's about mindset.
Mindset, yeah.
Interesting.
But then is that sustainable long term?
That's a good question.
Or does it become like self-deception?
Like, are you just lying to yourself to feel better?
Exactly. Yeah. So that's something to think about.
Yeah, I think so.
But he gets into this thing that's kind of controversial.
Right.
He says women are biologically programmed to be attracted to alpha males.
Oh, so like it's not even a choice.
He's like, attraction is not a choice.
Interesting.
And he says you should assume attraction.
Assume attraction.
So it's like, act as if every woman is interested.
Like you're just projecting that.
Yeah, and you're basically willing it to existence.
So that's pretty different from like trying to win someone over.
It's like the opposite of all the typical dating advice, which is like, try to impress her.
Right. Be romantic.
Right.
Take her on dates.
Yeah, he's like, okay, just assume she's already attracted to you.
Interesting.
So then the question is like, well, how do you actually do that?
Yeah, how do you put that into practice?
Like, what are the actual steps to becoming this irresistible alpha male?
Mm-hmm.
So he gets into like all these do's and don'ts.
Okay.
For conversations with women.
All right, so what are some of his big no-nos?
Well, he's like, no negative talk.
Oh, that makes sense.
Which I think everyone agrees on.
Yeah.
But then he's also like, no bragging.
Oh, that's interesting.
Which is kind of surprising.
Yeah, because you think an alpha male would be all about that.
You'd think.
Showing off.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he's like.
So what else does he say?
No romantic conversations before sex.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
He's like, talking about feelings too early.
Okay.
Can kill attraction.
So does he have like a reason for that?
He says it's because of this thing called emotional contagion.
Emotional contagion.
Which is like this research that shows that people unconsciously mirror the strongest emotions in a group.
Oh, interesting.
So he's saying if you're projecting confidence and like sexual energy, it'll actually influence the woman's emotional state.
So instead of like trying to woo her with words, you're just like setting a vibe.
Yeah, you're creating this vibe that she's drawn to.
Interesting.
It's almost like a Jedi mind trick, but with vibes.
That's one way to put it.
Instead of the force. So he's basically saying emotions are contagious.
Okay.
And you can use this to your advantage in dating.
Okay, I see.
Have you ever like walked into a room where everyone's laughing?
Oh, yeah.
And you just instantly feel...
You can't help but smile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's emotional contagion.
Okay, I get it.
So he's like, you can do that with confidence.
So how do you know if it's working?
Right. How do you know? Are there signs?
If your vibe is working.
That she's into you.
No.
So he gets into this whole thing about attraction signals.
Attraction signals.
Like both verbal and nonverbal.
Okay.
Like he's got this whole list.
Like what kind of things?
Of cues that women use to show interest.
Oh, interesting.
Some are subtle, like mirroring your body language.
Oh, yeah.
And then some are more overt.
Like what?
Like... He says if her foot is pointed towards you, or if she's playing with a cylindrical object.
Oh, right. We'll leave that to your imagination, listener.
Yeah.
That's getting a little too spicy for us. But it's interesting that
it is interesting.
He gets that specific.
Yeah, he's very detailed.
Yeah.
It's like he's giving you this secret language to decode female behavior.
So you can read the signs.
Exactly. But it's important to remember that not everyone communicates the same way.
It's force.
So like these signals might not
everyone's going to do the same thing.
Be universal.
Right.
So you always want to like prioritize clear communication and respect boundaries.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's say you've mastered the art of conversation. You're projecting confidence. You're picking up on all the right signals.
Right.
What's next?
So that's the next level.
What do you do?
Yeah.
He's like, it's time to go on a date.
All right.
But not just any date.
Okay.
His very specific ideas.
So what's his take on the alpha male date?
Okay. So he says no fancy dinners.
Interesting.
He's like, go to like a coffee shop or a diner.
Yeah, casual.
Yeah, like downplay the whole date vibe.
Make it low pressure.
Yeah, make it casual.
Okay.
Low pressure.
So it's not about impressing her.
Right.
With like a fancy restaurant.
Nope.
Okay.
He's like, establish a sense of familiarity and comfort.
Okay.
Make it seem like this is your natural environment.
Like this is just,
where you hang out.
Yeah, he even says become a regular at your chosen spot.
Right.
Like get to know the staff.
Okay.
He's like, women notice these things.
Oh, so it's all about creating this.
It's all about creating an atmosphere of authenticity and ease.
Got it.
Rather than like trying to force a romantic connection. But let's be real.
Yeah.
The goal of the date,
at
least according to him, is to create an opportunity to be alone. And like escalate physical intimacy.
So how does he suggest doing that?
So this is where he gets into his boyfriending technique.
Boyfriending technique?
Yeah.
What's that?
So it's this whole step-by-step process for escalating physical intimacy.
All right, I'm intrigued. It's very structured. Like he lays out specific steps.
So like walk us through it.
Okay, so like first you hold hands.
Okay.
Then you like touch her arm.
Then you touch her back. Sure. And then eventually like kissing and more.
So it's like this.
It's like a dance.
Yeah, it's like a very carefully choreographed dance. It does seem a little bit calculated though.
It does kind of make you wonder.
Like is he trying to engineer a specific outcome?
Manipulative or is it just strategic?
Yeah. What do you think, listener?
Yeah. Is this like too much or is it okay?
Is it just being smart?
Yeah.
I think it definitely raises some important questions.
For sure.
About consent and boundaries.
Like, where's the line between being assertive and being pushy?
Exactly.
You want to cross that line.
And I think regardless of what dating advice you're following,
exactly,
that's something we should all be thinking about.
Absolutely.
So does he talk about, like, what if a woman just wants a one-night stand?
Yeah.
Is he, like, strictly focused on...
Does he say anything about that?
Long-term relationships, or?
He does, actually. He acknowledges that some women do enjoy casual encounters. Okay. And he even gives advice on how to transition from a fling to a relationship.
So how do you do that?
Well, he suggests using rewards, punishments.
That sounds kind of harsh.
Yeah, it does sound a little bit like you're training a dog or something.
Yeah, it's like
of a person.
He's applying these alpha male strategies to, like, maintaining a relationship.
Like, is that really how you build a healthy...
It's a little unsettling.
Yeah, it does seem, to be honest.
Like, his whole philosophy is about dominance and control.
Control,
which doesn't exactly scream healthy relationship.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd want to be in a relationship.
Right.
Like that.
What do you think, listener?
Yeah.
Any red flags here? I mean, there's definitely some concerning aspects.
There are some things that are a little bit iffy. But I think we can also be objective and say that he does have some interesting points about...
Like what?
Mindset, perception, communication.
Like the whole idea of controlling your emotional response to events. And, like, assuming attraction.
Assuming attraction. Yeah.
I mean, that was pretty thought-provoking.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
For sure.
But on the other hand, his emphasis on, like...
dominance and control.
Yeah, dominance, manipulation, control.
Yeah.
That's troubling.
That's not so good.
Yeah, it's like he's advocating for this very calculated and inauthentic approach to dating.
Like, if you're always putting on an act, how can you ever really connect with someone?
Exactly. Like, if you're constantly performing, how do you build...
What is the real...
you? Real intimacy.
Yeah.
It just seems counterproductive.
I think so.
In the long run.
Yeah.
So it begs the question, like, is achieving this alpha status... worth sacrificing?
Like, do you have to give up
your genuineness? Your empathy?
Your true self to be this alpha male?
Like, is that kind of success actually worth it?
Yeah, that's a good question.
If it comes at the expense of your integrity and the well-being of others.
Yeah, I think that's something everyone needs to decide for themselves.
Totally.
Like, what are you willing to sacrifice?
And remember, listener,
Yeah.
this is just one perspective.
Right.
There are many other ways.
This is just one guy's opinion.
Yeah.
There are other ways to do this.
To approach dating and relationships. So what's important is finding an approach that feels authentic to you.
Yeah.
And respects the dignity of others.
I think that's key.
Yeah.
For sure.
So we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
We've gotten into some
a lot of
pretty controversial strategies.
You guys got some.
For becoming an alpha male.
Interesting ideas.
Yeah.
To say the least.
But we've really only scratched the surface of this whole topic.
There's always more to learn.
I'm particularly intrigued by the way he connects biological impulses to social behavior.
Yeah, what do you mean?
Like, his whole claim, women are biologically programmed to be attracted to alpha males.
Really drawn to these guys.
It just makes me wonder, like, is attraction really...
Is it nature or nurture?
Yeah, is it nature or nurture? Is it just instinct?
Yeah. Is it all biology?
Or is it shaped by...
Or is it our experiences?
Our culture.
Our culture.
Our individual preferences.
Our preferences, yeah.
And, like, if we do accept...
that there's this biological programming. Does that mean we're all just slaves to our instincts?
Or can we actually, like...
Or do we have free will?
Yeah, make conscious choices.
Right. Can we...
override our programming?
Yeah. I don't know.
That's a tough one.
It's a tough question.
Yeah.
I don't think there are any easy answers.
I think it's worth thinking about, though.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
Okay, so we talked a lot about his views on women, but, like, what about men?
What does he think it means?
Yeah, what does he think?
To be a man.
It means to be a real man.
Right.
So
what's his definition of masculinity?
He seems to have this very narrow definition of masculinity.
So what's it all about?
It's like all about dominance, control, sexual conquest.
Sexual conquest.
He puts a lot of emphasis on physical appearance.
Oh, so like looks are important. Yeah. Yeah, like you have to have a certain body type, dress a certain way.
Okay.
He even encourages men to like adopt this alpha male persona.
Okay.
Even if it doesn't feel genuine.
So like fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
It's all about projecting this image of power and confidence.
Okay.
Even if it's just a facade.
So it's like you have to fit into this mold.
Yeah, it's like you have to fit into this mold.
To be a real man.
To be considered successful and desirable.
So what about the guys who don't fit that mold?
What about the guys who are sensitive, empathetic?
Yeah.
Are they not real men?
Yeah. Are they somehow less masculine?
Interesting.
I think it's a dangerous
It is a little bit.
message to send.
Especially to younger guys.
Yeah, especially to young men.
Who are still figuring things out.
Who are still figuring out who they are.
Like it can make them feel...
Yeah, it can lead to like...
inadequate.
Feelings of inadequacy.
Yeah.
Pressure to conform. And even violence.
Wow. Yeah, that's so good.
We need to challenge...
I think we need to broaden...
these outdated notions.
Yeah.
Of masculinity.
Our definition of what it means to be a man.
Yeah. And create space for men to express themselves authentically.
Yeah, just be yourself.
Yeah.
And be accepted for who you are.
Without fear of judgment or rejection.
Absolutely.
Like true strength lies in embracing our vulnerability, our emotions, our individuality.
Yeah, I like that.
So
besides all this alpha male stuff.
Yeah, besides all the alpha male stuff.
Does he have any other advice?
Does he have any other...
self-improvement.
Like practical advice on self-improvement?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does, actually.
Okay.
He gets into like...
Like what kind of things?
The psychology of self-improvement.
Okay.
He suggests like all these different techniques for changing your mindset.
Like what?
And overcoming limiting beliefs.
Okay.
He talks about affirmations.
Oh, yeah.
Visualization.
Okay.
Even self-hypnosis.
Interesting.
So it's like all these...
They're all pretty common self-help.
Classic self-help techniques.
Yeah. Do you think they actually work?
I mean, I think they can be helpful.
Yeah.
For some people.
For some people.
But it's important to like...
Yeah.
Approach them with caution.
Like, don't just try this stuff on your own.
And like, if you need help.
You need help.
Reach out to a professional.
Yeah. Talk to someone who knows what they're doing.
Yeah. Because not every technique works for everyone.
And some of them could even be harmful.
Right.
If you're not careful.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's important to find what works for you. And be mindful of your own mental and emotional well-being.
Absolutely take care of yourself.
Yeah. What about social connections?
Oh, yeah. Does he say anything about...
Yeah, does he talk about friendships?
Like the importance of building a strong social circle?
Yeah.
He does touch on it.
Okay.
But his advice is a little bit...
What's his take?
Pragmatic.
Pragmatic, okay.
So to say the least.
So like, what does he say?
So he sees friendships as like...
Okay.
A means to an end.
A means to an end.
Yeah. Like,
okay.
You should cultivate relationships.
So it's all about like...
Primarily for the benefits they offer.
What you can get out of it.
Yeah.
Not like actual connection.
Right. Not for genuine connection and support.
Interesting.
It's all about like networking.
Oh, so he thinks you should just use people to get ahead.
Yeah. And using people to get ahead. Which is like
not a great way.
A pretty cynical view of friendship.
I wouldn't want to be friends with him.
Yeah. He even advises against being too picky about who you befriend.
Oh, really?
He's like, never say no.
Never say no to an invitation.
Okay.
Which just sounds exhausting.
That sounds exhausting.
Like superficial.
Yeah, and like you're just collecting acquaintances.
Right, you're not building meaningful relationships.
Not real friendships.
So his approach to friendship definitely lacks authenticity.
It's very surface level.
And depth.
Yeah.
He's all about quantity.
Quantity.
Over quality.
About quality.
Which is the opposite of how most people view.
Most people want.
True friendship.
Deep connections.
Yeah.
Not just a lot of people.
So
it seems like he's just.
Yeah, it seems like he's applying this cost-benefit analysis to all his relationships. Yeah. Which is kind of.
It's all about
what's in it for air.
And calculating.
Yeah.
But maybe that's the key.
Maybe that's the secret.
To his whole alpha male philosophy is like detaching yourself from your emotions and treating everything
like it's a game, like a strategic game.
A game, yeah. Interesting.
So
we've seen his strategies for becoming this alpha male.
We've explored his strategies for becoming an alpha male.
And his views on attraction and friendship.
Yeah, from his views on attraction to his approach to friendship.
Okay.
But like, what does this all mean?
Yeah, what does it all mean?
For you, listener.
What's the takeaway here?
Like, his overall message seems to be that success with women requires adopting a certain mindset. And a set of behavior.
Yeah.
And he gives you this, like, detailed roadmap.
Yeah, he lays it all out.
For achieving this alpha status.
Okay.
But, like, at what cost?
Right, like, what do you have to give up?
Yeah, does this path lead to...
Yeah, does this lead to happiness?
Like, genuine happiness and fulfillment?
Fulfillment, yeah.
Or does it come at the expense of...
Or are you sacrificing...
Authenticity.
Authenticity, yeah.
Empathy, meaningful connection.
Meaningful connection, yeah.
That's for you to decide.
Yeah, that's up to you, listener.
Like, we've presented the information.
We've just given you the information.
But the choice is yours.
No, you gotta make a choice.
Do any of his strategies resonate with you?
Do any of them sound good to you?
Or do you find them problematic?
Or are they just like a bad idea?
We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
So it's important to like critically evaluate.
Don't just take our word for it.
Yeah.
Think for yourself.
The information you encounter.
Yeah.
And form your own opinions.
Based on your own values.
Yeah, based on your values.
And experience.
And your experiences.
Yeah.
And remember.
Yeah.
There's no one size fits all.
What works for one person might not work for another.
Approach to dating and relationships.
Right.
What works for one person might not work for another.
And that's okay.
And what's most important is...
finding a path.
Yeah. Find what works for you.
That feels right for you.
Exactly. So we've gone on quite a journey here.
Yeah, this deep dive has taken us on a wild ride.
Through this
book's perspective.
On masculinity.
Attraction.
Relationships. It's been a wild ride.
Yeah. We've examined his take on self-improvement.
Yeah.
And delved into some...
We've gotten into some...
pretty interesting and controversial...
Interesting and maybe a little bit problematic.
Communication dynamics.
Yeah.
And along the way... we've raised some important questions.
We've asked some tough questions.
About ethics.
Yeah.
Authenticity. Yeah. And the pursuit of connection.
Yeah, like what does it all mean?
Yeah. So where does this leave you, listener?
That's the question.
As always, we encourage you to think critically.
Don't just believe everything you hear.
Yeah.
Think for yourself.
About the information we've presented and draw your own conclusions.
What do you think?
Like what resonates with you?
Yeah, what feels right?
What challenges your beliefs?
What do you disagree with?
Take what's helpful.
Yeah.
Leave what's not.
Take what you need.
And keep exploring.
And leave the rest.
Yeah. The journey of self-discovery and personal growth.
It's just a lifelong journey.
Never really ends.
It never ends.
And as you navigate the world of dating and relationships, remember to stay true to yourself.
Be yourself.
Yeah, and treat others with respect and kindness.
Always.
But before we wrap up, there's one more aspect of the book.
One more thing.
I think is worth exploring.
Oh, okay.
His approach to communication.
Communication, okay.
He does give some interesting advice on how to hold a conversation. But it's all filtered through this lens of...
So what's his angle?
Like manipulation and control.
Manipulation and control, okay.
So he stresses the importance of making emotionally relevant conversation.
Emotionally relevant.
Yeah, so like appeal to a woman's feelings.
Okay.
Rather than...
not her intellect.
Her intellect,
okay. So like play on her emotion.
Yeah, okay. He also says to avoid certain topics.
Like what kind of topics?
Like politics.
Oh, politics.
Religion.
Religion?
Even romance.
No romance.
Yeah, he claims...
Seems like no talking about.
That these subjects can kill attraction.
Feelings.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And he really pushes for men to be confident and assertive in their communication.
Okay.
But always with the goal of steering the interaction.
Steering it toward
physical intimacy.
Physical intimacy.
It's like he's advocating for...
So it's not about...
a performance.
Yeah.
Rather than like...
having a genuine...
conversation.
Yeah, it all feels very scripted and strategic. There's little room for spontaneity.
Like, where's the fun in that?
Yeah. Or genuine emotional expression.
Emotion.
So it's like, is this approach to communication?
That's a good question.
Actually helpful?
Is this helpful or harmful?
Or harmful
in
building meaningful relationships.
In the long run.
Yeah. Does it create genuine intimacy?
Yeah.
Or does it foster...
Right, does it just create...
superficiality?
Yeah, more problems.
And distrust. And how does it impact our ability to communicate effectively?
Like, does it mess you up?
In other areas of our lives.
In other areas of your life.
Beyond just dating.
Yeah.
It makes you think, like, are all these techniques and strategies...
Is it all just a game?
Actually getting in the way of, like, real connection.
I think that's a real risk.
Yeah.
You know? It's kind of like a paradox.
Yeah.
The more you try to control the interaction, the less
genuine it is.
Genuine it becomes.
Yeah.
And ironically, that lack of authenticity can be a turnoff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to feel like they're being manipulated.
It's like trying too hard to be cool.
Yeah. You just end up looking kind of desperate.
Yeah.
And that's not cool. So how do you find that balance then?
Yeah, it's like, how do you be confident?
Right.
Without being arrogant? Or manipulative?
Yeah.
It seems tricky.
I think it's like learning a new language. Like you need to understand the grammar and vocabulary, but you don't want to sound like you're reading from a textbook. You want to be able to express yourself fluently and naturally.
That's a great analogy. So it's like you can learn from these strategies.
Yeah.
Right. But you don't want them
to overshadow your own...
Take over, your own personality and intentions.
Yeah, be yourself.
Be yourself.
Ultimately, that's what people are attracted to.
Authenticity.
Yeah.
And just like learning a language.
Yeah.
Becoming skilled at dating and relationships.
Yeah. It takes time.
Time and practice.
Yeah. Practice and patience.
And a willingness to...
And you're going to make mistakes.
Yeah. You're going to make mistakes along the way.
That's how you learn.
So it's a journey.
It's a journey.
Not a destination.
Not a destination.
Well, this deep dive has definitely been a journey.
Yeah.
It's taken us on a wild ride.
Through all these crazy ideas.
Through this book's perspective.
Yeah.
On masculinity, interaction, relationships.
We did a lot.
Yeah. We've examined his take on self-improvement.
Yeah.
We've delved into some...
We got into some deep stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Controversial.
Controversial for sure.
Communication dynamics. And I think along the way, we've raised some really important questions. About ethics.
Yeah.
Authenticity and the pursuit of connection.
Yeah. So where does that leave you, listener?
Where does this leave you, listener?
Yeah. What are your thoughts?
What are your takeaways?
Did any of this resonate with you?
Yeah.
Did any of it make you mad?
Did you agree? Did you disagree?
Yeah.
As always, we encourage you to think critically.
Think for yourself.
About everything you've heard.
Don't just take our word for it.
Yeah, and draw your own conclusions.
Yeah.
Take what's helpful.
Take what works for you.
Leave what's not.
And leave the rest.
And keep exploring the journey of self-discovery and personal growth.
It never ends.
Never really ends.
It's a lifelong process.
And as you navigate the world of dating and relationships, remember to stay true to yourself.
Be yourself.
And treat others with respect and kindness.
That's the most important thing.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everybody.
We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
For another exploration.
For another deep dive.
Into a fascinating topic.
We'll see you then.